thank you guys so much for coming on today, and I was really looking forward to this. I haven't talked to any of you guys since, 1995?
No. It's been a while, but yeah.
That's scary.
Okay, well, let's just start, because I'm going to ask you guys what everybody's doing, too. So first, I just want everybody to introduce themselves. We have Will Binder, Dean Erickson, and Peter Lucas. Go ahead, Will.
Hi, I'm Will, and I am the director from Gabriel Knight 2. I live in Los Angeles still, and still pursuing directing, writing, and my artwork. And it's great to catch up with you guys. It's this is one of my best experiences was this game. I really had a great time.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Dean?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is Dean Erickson. I played Gabriel Knight, and I live in Los Angeles as well, and no longer act, but I write books, and I primarily run an investment business, which I had done initially when I got out of college, so I've gone back to that, and I'm married and enjoying life, and all is good. But yes, I also have very fond memories of our times with Gabriel Knight and the shoot.
Will, is that you?
No, it's not. The heavy breathing, you mean?
Peter said it was the middle of the night, so he must have tripped over something.
No, I didn't. I'm sitting in front of the computer.
Okay, Peter, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Peter Lucas. I played Baron von Glauer. Recently, I moved back to Poland, so forgive me my English. It's not as smooth as it used to be. Now I'm raising my little two sons here in Poland, still acting here and partially in America. And I have not only great memories from shooting the show, but also responses which we got with the game afterwards from all over the world.
Yeah, I want to ask you guys about that.
Yeah, everybody loved Peter. Why didn't anybody like me? Everybody loved Peter. Oh, Peter's so handsome. Peter's this. Peter's that.
No, it wasn't that. But you know, what was the nicest compliment I was getting, that they felt sorry they didn't want to finish the game because they had to kill me. And that was the nicest thing I remember getting from fans. And I was amazed that this game was actually released in so many languages, because I was getting fan mail, probably you too, Dean, from all over the world, Asia, South America, Europe. So that was an incredible experience.
Yeah, I have more Facebook friends from Europe than I do anywhere else, from the Gabriel Knight game. So it is fun.
I think it's still the most popular, most fan favorite adventure game of all time, pretty much. Jane, you know.
It was way up there. I mean, PC Gamer had a poll in the back of the magazine, which was like the Reader's Choice poll, and it was like the number one slot for years. But yeah,
let's claim it anyway.
Yeah, let's say that it was.
I mean, if it's not, it's very close.
Who's going to prove different now, right?
Well, I've certainly gotten lots of fan feedback on both you guys, Dean and Peter, and people are demanding to know when you're going to be in another game of mine, and you have to use Dean, you have to use Peter. And I do hear a lot too. People say, it was the one thing they didn't like about GK2 was that Von Glauer had to die at the end.
Yeah, well.
Well, it's tragedy. I don't know.
You can always find a way to bring him back.
That's right. Hey, Dallas did it. Come on. It's all a dream sequence.
Actually, I did a show called 7 Days when I died there 3 times. No, it's not funny. In the pilot, I died twice because there was a travel. We were traveling back. So first, I actually, being a member of a Chechen team, I blew up myself after I accomplished the mission, and then I was killed in front of the White House. But the producers wanted to bring me back in appreciation that the show was picked up. So 2 years later, they brought me back as my brother, and I was killed again.
There you go. That's a good idea.
So everything is possible.
Well, Dean, you died a lot in GK2 as well. It just wasn't permanent.
Oh, well.
Remember? Didn't you die? There were places in the game where you could die.
Hey, are you talking about my acting?
No. Wasn't there a section in the woods when you were in the woods where you could get killed and die? And
Wolf, we had all those shots with you with your neck bleeding. Remember, torn open.
That wolf.
They made a mistake. The wolf.
Will, how did you get involved with GK2?
How did I get involved? Originally, I was going to be involved with a classmate of mine, Mark Mearmont from UCLA Film School. Actually lined up the job as directing the video game GK2, and I was going to come on as his production manager. And in the pre-production, it didn't really work out with Mark, so he was no longer on the project, and I went in there with my background and continued the pre-production and then directed the game. So that's how I got in with a friend of mine, and then brought the rest of the crew, or a lot of the rest of the crew, up. And when Mark was there, we didn't even cast yet. We only had a couple people cast, and then we did the rest of the casting, and that's how I got involved.
Dean, how did you hear about this role, and how did you get cast in it?
Back in the day, when I had an agent, they let me know about this and called me in on it. I guess Dan Parada was the casting director, and so I went in and met with Dan, and I don't know I think Will might have been there the first go around too. Yeah, and so we did a scene or a cold read on camera, as I recall, and just the usual casting session. Right, Will?
I still remember, Jane, you remember this, when Dean was inside, I think it was he came up when you met him, and he gave, he was doing some lines, and I can't remember which lines they were, but he really scared you, and that's when you were sold on Dean completely. You remember that?
Yeah, I think we had picked a couple different scenes for him to read, and one was just sort of normal stuff, and then I think we maybe had him read remember the scene at the very end where you're screaming at Grace?
That was it, yep.
And, yeah, I like that, so.
Phew, I was plenty boring for the first two scenes.
Because I remember the hair. Yeah, remember the hair? I had longer hair just like you, and Jane, originally you saw a person with shorter hair originally, but after that scene, it was like the hair didn't matter, it was all good, Dean was the guy.
Yeah.
Well, frankly, Will, I was always known as a hair actor. And I think I proved that during the shoot and through the game that I do a lot of acting with my hair.
Well, you did have to cut your hair because your hair was quite long before that, wasn't it?
Oh, that's true. I probably had a ponytail beforehand.
Yeah, uh-huh.
Wow, you still haven't paid me for cutting my hair. Wow.
You've been paid.
But I think the casting process was kind of long, because I remember after I auditioned, I haven't heard for a while from the production, and probably like months or 6 weeks later, I was called back.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. That was the whole transition between Mearmont and myself. Everything kind of stopped for a little while there.
Oh,
I
see. Okay.
And then I came back on, and we finalized the casting, and then started production.
Well, I think too, we didn't really need Von Glauer right away.
Right.
In terms of we did a lot. We did a lot of shooting just with Dean by himself. Was right, Will, because of all the just little walk across the floor and pick up something, open a door, and
sure.
With Joanne too.
Exactly. Dean was probably most on camera, and then Joanne. But I still, things got delayed a little bit there at the beginning because of some of the crew, the situation with the crew and myself.
Right.
Then we got up to speed and went.
They actually auditioned you, Peter, long before they did me, and they figured once they had you, they were good to go. Then they had to, you were just. They already cast you, so you're just waiting for me to come along, I guess.
Right. But actually, what I was amazed that just only my sides were 100 pages. I mean, the script itself was 700 pages long. Am I right, Jane?
I was thinking it was more like 1,000. Was it 700?
The script that ate Hollywood.
It was amazing.
Yeah, it was. No one shoots that much. We were shooting sometimes 15. I think the most we did on a day was like 18 pages to 20 pages in a day, which is unheard of. We were just zipping through it, but that's the scope of it.
Yeah,
but,
I remember my that was the toughest scene for me. That scene where we were just sitting, Dean, and talking in my quarters. And there was so much talking, and I remember I had like 25 pages to remember. English is my second language. I was just only like 5 years or 6 years in America, and it was hard for me to learn. But because I knew it's going to be shot in one day, I really took my time before learning those lines because it would be very hard. But I don't know how about you, Dean, because when I got the game, I couldn't wait to play it. But actually, even I read the script, so I at this point I really have to bow to all the players who were able to finish the game without help. At the time, there was this service called CompuServe, and on CompuServe I was able to find tips and be able to find the game, finish the game, because I couldn't go from one scene to another. I was just not very good at it.
Hey, I'm with you. I still haven't been able to play it, and it's funny. My wife wanted to see it, so we've tried to download it from GOG.com, and it didn't work the first time. So I still have to get a click through and try to get through it. So
well,
that's funny.
On YouTube, you can watch the whole thing. Somebody's played through it.
That's true. I have watched some of those. That's right.
Yeah.
Not the whole thing, but
you know that, Peter.
Sure.
You can just go onto YouTube and you can go Gabriel Knight 2 video or you'll get all the scenes from the entire piece. You can download your computer.
In case you have lots of extra time with your two sons.
Right.
So, Will, did you play the game too, or no?
I did, of course, but I haven't played it in a long time.
So what did you guys think of it as a game? I mean, in terms of did it feel like the full motion video made sense to you in the game and that, it all was cohesive?
For me, it was a total breakthrough. I mean, I was amazed with the options, with the quality. I finally started to understand, how it was coming about. I was really impressed. Actually, I remember my parents were at this point visiting me in America, and I wanted to show them that. So I spent the whole night trying to find the ways how to get to my scenes, of course, and show them that. But it was amazing, At the time, I think it was created for Windows 98.
Yeah.
So right now it wouldn't play probably on Windows 7, but because I have still some original copies. But I was amazed with the idea and with the quality we got.